Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome once again to another one of my live streams. I am joined by the incomparable, the incandescent Justine Blanchard, a body confidence buddy, but also more importantly, a body confidence wellness coach. She uses the outside to help your inside. She'll make you feel better by getting you to feel better about yourself while walking and talking and unveiling and unmasking and becoming you. And she's got a number of modalities, which includes spirituality, Reiki, as well as various forms of other therapy that involves talking. So, welcome, Justine.
Thank you, Gareth. And I'm so glad that's being recorded because that was a brilliant introduction. I don't pay you enough for that kind of introduction.
Not at all. Not at all. I'll tell you what, as a favor, afterwards, I will grab the text from that and send you it over. So you've got that if you want it. But no, it's not. It was all true.
But it was I know, but I loved it. I loved it. Going outside to work on the inside. Why have I never thought of that? That's brilliant. Thank you.
But the thing about it is, you won't think about all these things because you're right in the middle of it. You know, it's sometimes hard to see it unless you're looking in from the outside in. So, guys, if you've been with us so far, you've seen 2 episodes.
Yes.
And each one of them has dealt with a different aspect of why Justine is here, why she's got to this nexus, why she is at the moment promoting her services so that you guys can get the benefit from it. Now, she didn't always want to walk in the woods helping people. That wasn't what she was about. And she's gone through a whole bunch of stages, which at the last, I believe we'd finished with Curves, which was a woman-only fitness franchise that you used to own and run. You'd solved that. You'd finished with that. And now you're about to move on to something different. And this was when the body confidence wellness concept was born, and you took qualifications. What were they again? I do apologize.
Qualified and certified as a body confidence wellness coach.
So I suppose
body confidence and well-being coach with the Institute of Body Confidence Coaching taught
by
Longhurst.
This all sounds very highfalutin. I want to know what is body confidence. I should have asked you last time. What is body confidence, and what does a body confidence coach bring out in one?
Well, essentially, it's a connection with the physical body, emotional body, mental body, and soul body. So, or even more simply, a connection with the heart, mind, body, and soul in whatever order that is: body, mind, heart, body, soul, mind, whatever. But basically just a connection with all of those different aspects of ourselves, because, you know, a lot of people, it's easy to understand what the physical body is, isn't it? Like, you can see it, you can touch it, you can feel it. It's our vessel, it's our home, it's our shell, if you will, you know.
Everything starts from that. But what are you postulating, that by getting these various parts of you to connect together, I guess, excuse me if I'm using hackneyed expression, in harmony, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Say that, and all I'm thinking is a Coca-Cola advert from the late 80s. But yes,
well, you're a musician, so talking in music metaphors makes sense to you.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, we work in perfect harmony. But if you're getting them to harmoniously work together, that represents wellness. Am I there?
Yes, it's wellness, it's confidence, it's about doing life better. You know, I mean, some of the techniques and the tools that I use are some traditional life coaching techniques and tools, right. But then it's also so much more. So it is bringing in some of the spiritual stuff. So talking a little bit more about like the soul body and the emotional body with like the chakra systems and meridians and, you know, a lot of the metaphysical stuff that goes on, you know, in and around our bodies. So it's not just about our our physical body. And, you know, mental health and mental awareness, it's all very much, it's always been there. Of course, it's always been there, but it's definitely something that's been talked about and considered a lot more in recent past.
I mean, I'll just jump in and say that a young lady by the name of Mandy Elliott has thrown you some hearts. So I'm guessing she's appreciating it. Very kind of you. Thank you, Mandy.
Thank you, Mandy.
Not at all. Not at all.
I can't see any of that, so thank you.
Not at all.
So yes, so certainly, you know, there is this really important connection, and you know that, and essentially, to be more connected with oneself is you're going to do life better. When you're connected, you're going to do life better. And, you know, a lot of people come to me also with my background of curves, come to me with the physical body side of things, with, you know, perhaps diet, perhaps exercise, you know, because these are certainly things that I was a lot more known for before. But it's not just about.
But that's just dealing with the your physical exterior. That's dealing with physical beauty, isn't it? Really.
And until, you know, maybe 5 years ago, that's all I really knew either. So that is also my journey, is, you know, of doing lots and lots of different diet programs, lots and lots of different exercise programs, lots and lots of physical body transformational type things. But there was always that thing that was missing, and I never quite understood what that thing was. It was when I learned about mindfulness, meditation, Reiki, that kind of then mental soul, spiritual kind of connection, that I was, okay, there's the missing piece.
All right. So you felt like, no offense, like an unfinished project in a way, and this is
we all are to some extent.
Well, ain't that the truth? Ain't that true? By the way, Mandy's doubled down. She's not just thrown you a heart, but she's also said hi to both. Isn't that sweet? There she is. And funny enough, she's making a picture of horns in it. But anyway, moving on. Mandy, we all love you. Thank you so much. That's very kind. There you go. Lovely. All right. So I'm a very simple person. I'm going to work this out. You can work on the exterior by exercising and regimes and nutrition, blah, 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 blah. But you're quite right, actually. There's always something missing. The thing that makes you feel wholesome and that, you know, at one with yourself. The stuff that makes you stop questioning and the internal voice, the internal monologue that says from time to time that you're in fact, you're shit. But you're not, because you've got to handle it. And you're saying this helps work on it all?
Absolutely. And in fact, with your example there of the, you know, inner critic or the inner voice, or, you know, I do a workshop about finding or turning your gremlin into your goddess, which is very much about kind of identifying who or what that voice might be. And turning it into a different voice, you know, a more influential voice or a more positive voice, or even just recognizing who or what that voice sounds like, so that you can make friends with it and find out what it's actually there for. Because
so you shouldn't do what I default do, which is squash it right down and then put it into a box and then lock it away and not let it come out, even for tea time.
I'm not here to say who should or shouldn't do what, when, and how, or whatever, but it's certainly encouraging to you know, find out what the inner voice is there for, who or what that voice sounds like, and why it's there. Because putting it in a box doesn't necessarily heal or learn or work with, you know, because ultimately our egos, which are sometimes telling us all of the things that, you know, might not be so positive, or, you know, in this case, a gremlin or an inner critic or something like that, ultimately they're here to help us. Ultimately, they do want us to succeed. They're that voice is here to protect us, but it often doesn't feel that way at the time.
Well, you know, the thing is, I mean, let me make a reference to I'm vaguely active within the LGBTQ community. I had my daughter is trans, and my son is gay, and I try and keep up with events in there. And I know a lot of people who are LGBTQ often find it hard to get over the inner critic that's saying, no, they're all going to point their fingers at you and say X, Y, and Z, or you know you're rubbish. Why are you bothering doing anything? When if you could get over that, that's possibly the first stage onto success, because you're no longer listening to that wagging finger, which, by the way, in my case is the sound of my father's voice. But I mean, moving on, who says you'll never amount to anything, and they all laugh at you. You've got to wear funny clothes. What's wrong with you? Get rid of that hat. And all that sort of stuff. Which I usually manage to shove into a little black box and turn the key and push. But I suppose if I could get it so that I was able to make friends with the voice, to feel at one with it, to not feel somehow demeaned by it or felt less ridiculous from it, that would enable me to do more, I guess. Is that what we're talking about? I mean,
yeah, I mean, yeah, you just coached yourself, Gareth.
Oh, it's all right. Sorry, yeah, don't worry. I'll send myself the bill later. The point is,
and also, sorry to interrupt you, but that exactly is the point, and that is what coaching is all about. Though it is all about creating the environment in which a client, a person can work those things out for themselves. A coach prompts with particular questions, and it's not my role to ask questions in order to lead you down a particular path, because I'm not trying to guide you to find the right answer. I'm trying to guide you to find your answer.
So we got to this point with your own journey where you'd done the training. You'd become convinced by that time that this was the hidden piece. This was the missing portion that you could do, so you could provide a more holistic solution.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did a mindfulness course. I was then introduced to Reiki, and just everything, it all started coming together. And then when I found the Institute for Body Confidence Coaches, and those are the modules. In fact, there's 5 modules to it. It's the physical body, mental body, emotional body, soul body, and cultural body. Although within the coaching practices that I use, I kind of stick to the 4 main ones. The cultural body is very interesting. It's all about, the cultural influences that we have. So like our view of ourselves and our body image and the way in which we hold ourselves and everything like that there is cultural elements to that. So I do also, depending on the person that I'm working with, some of the cultural body stuff might come into play as well, because like you just mentioned, the LGBTQ plus community, there might be some cultural references that need to come into play in the coaching environment there as well. So it is also, when you have a new client, when you work with somebody new, you kind of, I start with a fairly formulaic first session, but then wherever the conversation goes in that first session, I mean, we might shoot off in 100 different directions. And
Right.
That was all part of the toolkit that I gained as part of the Institute of Body Confidence Coaches. I mean, the toolkit's like that big, with all of these different sections, and, because everybody's body is different and every body is different. And ultimately, I think the common thread through everybody is that we all just want to feel good.
Well, we all want to feel accepted and therefore not judged. And even if we are judged, that we don't care, that we're able to exist with or without their judgment, that we are able to progress our lives feeling at peace. Because I think you can't feel good about yourself unless you're at peace. If you're constantly questioning, why whether people are feeling a certain way or not, or even caring about other people's opinion. I mean, I'm so glad that I don't suffer with those kind of problems, but I see Many people, my close loved ones, constantly suffering with what are they all thinking about me? Or I've made a fool of myself again, which is code for saying that other people are thinking badly of you. And that's why you feel foolish. But it must be a terrible trial. And therefore being at one with yourself, feeling the interconnectedness of all these different elements you've mentioned, that must go an awful long way to achieving that goal. In my mind,
Absolutely.
I'm a bear of simple brain, but to me, it seems like a no brainer.
Yeah. Well,
You get,
here's a question for you.
oh dear,
When you start thinking about all of those things,
yes.
you can just say or ask, is it true?
Oh, okay. So it's just the changing the framing of the question, really.
Yeah. So when you're kind of when one is sort of spinning out with all of those things and what are they thinking about me and they must be thinking this, they must be thinking that, da, da, da. Is that true?
Well, you sometimes have to check. We live in a post-truth world, don't we? Oh, look, his Nibs has chimed in.
Yes.
We are a work in progress, Nick. You sweet man. It is totally true. However, do you know it's going to sound weird and probably counterintuitive, but in really, the more I learn about myself, the more I wish I'd stopped learning about myself. It was simpler then. I understood, it was X plus Y equals Z. Now it's X plus Y equals all sorts of things. But I know, yes, I know, knowledge is power, and if the more you know about yourself, the better you are as a person. But sometimes it does get so complicated, don't you think, Justine?
We are we are complicated beings.
Yeah, but I want to get back to this body confidence wellness. The concept that you're throwing seems to be that you're aiming towards a goal where you are all parts working together in harmony, right?
Yes. Yes.
So how do you onboard someone? How do you bring someone onto that? Do you have a tick sheet saying, right, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about you?
So when I'm working with somebody one-to-one or even in a small group, if I'm doing a small group, there might be a mini version of this, but when I'm
Right.
working with somebody, I will send a pre-work questionnaire. So it's
Right.
about 4 or 5 pages of a questionnaire of a number of questions. Where are you at right now? One of the questions on there is, what would be the best thing that somebody could ever say to you? What would be one of the worst things that anybody could ever say to you? So kind of just getting somebody in the mindset of these are the types of questions that we might be going through when we're working together. So there is a pre-work questionnaire. And then I said my very first session will often be going through the questionnaire, just clarifying and going a little bit deeper. I might have follow-up questions to some of the things that's been written, and then I have a particular activity that I always do on the first session, and then after that it kind of goes wherever it needs to go. So the program is, or the packages are very, very bespoke, because not everybody has the same goal, not everybody comes with the same issues. Somebody might be very physical body connected, but the whole idea of meditation or visualization or talking about inner child is like totally foreign and alien. So we might go down that path, whereas somebody might be very spiritual, has done all kinds of shadow work and has like all these different parts works that they do on themselves.
Hang on a second. What's shadow work?
That's a whole nother topic.
Oh, all right. For next time. I need to wind this up now because we are 19 minutes in. Although I am enjoying it, and it's as ever an excellent conversation. We need to leave them wanting more. What I'm just going to quickly do, guys, is I'm going to put on the bottom. He says, reaching around for it, a little banner so you know where to get in touch with her. So as you can see, dear Justine has a website, www.body-confidence.co.uk. You can also find her on LinkedIn, where she will regale you with how getting all your bits and pieces talking to each other happily in harmony will make you a better version of yourself. Certainly sounds appealing. What I would say is, can you give one little tip to people before we go of something they can do in their daily routine to make themselves feel more connected?
Breathe.
And when you say breathe, I
Yeah.
assume you don't mean the autonomous nervous system that makes
Yeah.
you breathe whether I like it or not. What do you mean?
Yeah. Just a couple, 2, 3, 5, 10, if you've got like a whole minute, is literally just some intentional deep breaths. And I mean, there's all kinds of different breathing techniques and everything, but without going into any kind of technique, literally just wherever you are, stop wherever you are, both feet on the floor, eyes closed with or open, and just a nice big just connect. Just take, I mean, 5 of those breaths is going to be less than 30 seconds. And even if one wants to set an alarm for, every 60 to 90 minutes, just to take 3 breaths every 60 minutes, that will help to connect.
Amazing. What I think we should do at some point in the future is perhaps a meditation where you can talk people through. Would you like to do one of those?
I'd love to.
All right, cool. And we're going to talk a bit more about different. I want to cover the shadow work. We're going to go through the different parts and parcels of what body confidence and what to expect from it. And hopefully you guys will become as intrigued by it as I am. Justine, thank you once again for what has to be said has been an education. And I look forward to talking to you still further in the future. As you can see at the bottom, I'm going to tell you one last time. It says there, there's a website, www.body-confidence.co.uk. Find Justine Blanchard, Body Confidence Buddy, online on LinkedIn, where she'll be pleased to talk to you still further. But what I would like to say is, guys, try not to be too hard on yourself. Life is a long, long marathon. It's not a race. We're all going to get to the finish end, whether we like it or not. So we might as well try and make this a great time and a good time. And part of that is getting in touch with yourself. Thanks once again, Justine Blanchard. Until the next time we speak, I wish you all a wonderful week and, of course, wonderful mental health.